Dr. Homebrew is brought to you by 5 Star Chemicals, providing safety and cleaning supplies for brewing, distilling, and winemaking at 5starchemicals.com.
Doctor, look!
Stand aside, nurse. I'm Dr. Homebrew.
Stand clear.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Another fine edition of Dr. Homebrew, the only show that will openly drink your homebrew. Yeah!
Openly, yes. Without reservations. Well, you need a reservation, I guess. But
That's true.
But not without reservations.
Turn your mic on, Warren.
Is this on? Yes.
I don't think it's on. Well, grab another mic, because I don't know why it's not working. Warren's here, in case anybody...
Warren in the house.
Warren, you're talking to the light switch right now. Stop it. Turn around. Use the microphone.
The light switch?
There you go. That's the microphone now.
That's a microphone.
Oh, shit, I just broke it.
Way to go. It is another edition of Dr. Homebrew, everybody. The only show that we call a interactive BJCP score sheet, which I think is pretty cool. I came up with myself.
And we also call it home.
We also call
I
it
was
home.
just thinking that. It's like home. How seasonal.
Brian, would you mind taking the trash out?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Welcome home.
I'm going to wash your
it.
dishes, too.
Yeah. I've been meaning to talk to you. I feel like we're drifting apart.
That's intentional, JP.
I'm going to take the wheels off your chair next time. How's everybody doing? It's been a month.
It's cold out.
It's nice, right? Isn't it great? The
cold
Stormageddon. The superstorm.
It's not even below 60. What do you say?
I love the picture with the lawn chair that fell down. It says, "We will rebuild."
Yeah, that's about it.
I mean, meanwhile, I wonder if like the people who had there were 3 cars in Berkeley that were submerged in storm runoff, and I bet they were like, "Oh my god, no one really understands how I feel right now. Everyone's making fun of me."
And everybody else in the country's like, "Those whiny Californians. First, it's not enough rain, then it's too much." I was dancing in the rain. I loved it. You know, I'm happy.
I think it's great, but I did wonder why we had to close our schools down.
Yeah.
That's one thing I didn't understand. In case anybody didn't know, we had the Pineapple Express, not that terrible movie, but the actual tropical wind surge or whatever, brought a bunch of rain, and it was like in the San Francisco Bay Area, most of the school districts closed down because they didn't want their children's
to get wet.
Wet, yeah.
It's been 3 years since they've seen rain. I mean, it could be traumatic.
It would ruin recess. Then the teachers would have to put up with the kids all day.
And so instead, on the one hand, they complain that schools don't have money, teachers and blah, 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 our kids are being left behind. And then there's a little bit of rain, and that's it. No schools.
If you get those children's wet, they'll grow ears and start running around, biting people.
I mean, I remember walking home in sideways rain with just pants soaked. And it's like, great. You go home and you pop a Dr. Pepper or two and watch cartoons.
Yes, you change your pants if you need to.
Yeah.
Winter.
Right, sit by the heater. I don't know. I guess the expectation is they don't teach school in Seattle at all ever.
It's weird
because it's always raining there, right?
Yeah,
you can never open the schools on California rules up there.
It's weird that kids are failing tests now when they're staying home when it rains.
Yeah,
it's hard to learn things at home when you're watching SpongeBob or whatever kids do these days.
Well, at some point we will be SpongeBob. We'll be living underneath the water.
Right.
That's true if it rains enough.
Yeah, in Minnesota, man, they would have school until the freaking diesel fuel froze. It was no problem. Right. Just they got snow plows.
That's what I don't understand.
I rode my moped to college until there was ice on the roads in Minnesota. And then even then, I power slid into a car that pulled out in front of me. And then it was like, all right, fine, I guess I'll start driving my car.
But you're an adult at that point. Well, presumably.
That's why you're wearing shorts right now.
Right. It's shorts weather.
Right.
This is shorts
weather. The rain
weather.
stopped.
It's perfect.
It's fine.
I wonder how other places in the country are looking at the San Francisco Bay Area. Presumably they are because we're the center of everything.
The same as they always do.
Yeah, right?
With disappointment.
Yeah.
Can I say that loudly enough?
people in New York, man, foot of snow. Kids are going to school.
Yeah.
But we may get 3 inches
You live
of
in
rain.
Buffalo, you hand the kid a snow shovel, and he tunnels his way 8 blocks to school.
I just don't
The kids go to school, but the Bills don't play with
Right.
a foot of snow.
No, well, why would they?
Well, it's hard playing football.
They might learn
Snow.
something.
Right.
They might learn how to win.
So thanks for
Maybe.
joining us on Weather Chat on the Weather.
Yeah, really.
Taking a break, we're going to have the 4th orchestra ensemble.
What's going on in your skies?
If there were beer brewers in the state, they could brew some wonderful beer with all this moisture we're getting.
That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how to adjust for the rain cycles. If you're on the catch, if you catch rain, if you have a rain catch system, like our very own John Plissé has a rain catch system.
Yeah.
I don't know if he brews with it, but
when the Brewdogs came to the Bay Area and did their beer with Anchor, they harnessed the fog
Giant
to make their
metal
brew
sheets.
for the Bay Area.
yeah, so they stole our water.
That was
right.
cool.
Yeah. Well, at least they left it.
I guess.
They didn't take it with them.
Yeah, they dirtied it and then left it.
Right. They left it to ferment on top of the Anchor's roof.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
great.
Yeah.
Get the hell out.
People always coming to California to steal things. We're going to steal your movies. We're going to steal your
water,
your secrets, and your whole server if you're Sony. But yeah.
Oh yeah, that's another
They're
issue
just
altogether.
jealous.
There's a lot of weird stuff going on in the world, but not on Dr. Homebrew. On Dr. Homebrew, we talk about facts.
There's nothing weird here.
There's nothing weird on Dr. Homebrew.
Except homebrew.
It's just
except
facts
homebrew.
and opinions, damn it.
That's true. We do have one guest. This is another uni show. We're going to have Casey on. He brought us 2 beers. He's currently hanging out at McLeod Ales and Van Nuys. They were on the session a few months back with Andy, who's their young but spunky head brewer.
Great cask beer.
I loved him. What do you need, Beverly? A microphone? How do I? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you?
You want to share Scott's mic?
Who are you?
There's no Beverly. How sad.
Hi. Oh, there I am. Hi. Well, the moment is kind of past, but I was just going to chime in on how great they were. Their beer was fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Whose?
I forget.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Stormageddon.
Yeah,
Michelob?
okay.
Michelob beers.
Michelob?
Oh, that's the ultra stuff.
Triple hopped?
Thank you, Beverly, for that timely message.
You know what? It would have been super efficient had I... Whatever.
Well, the problem is I come into the studio every so often, and all the dials are turned down, which never happens. So I'm just sabotaged. That's all it is.
It is.
It's all right.
I actually do it to you. I go in and I
She
mess
comes
with
in and
stuff.
turns all the dials down
You
before.
beast.
Yeah.
Thank you, Beverly. Before we talk to Casey, I do want to thank our sponsor, 5 Star Chemicals. Go to 5starchemicals.com. Learn about how to properly clean and sanitize your brewing equipment. They make some great products, PBW, Star San, IO Star, Sani Clean, all the stuff that you know and love at your local homebrew shop. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you should really talk to your shop and ask them to get some proper cleaning equipment, proper cleaning chemicals from 5 Star Chemicals.
Do they make one of those one-step cleaner and sanitizer?
There's
in
no such
one
thing.
Things?
Those don't work. You can't.
I just use
Thank you
water.
for asking.
I just rinse everything with water and figure that does it all, right?
Water is the
Water's good.
Yeah.
Universal solvent.
Universal solvent.
It just
Okay.
sucks all of the bacteria and
It's
other
just
things out of it.
sometimes
It must.
very slow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just not using enough?
That's maybe what
Oh,
it
okay.
is. Yeah.
I'll just use all of it.
Yeah.
waste more of our
All right.
state's water.
Right.
Yes, go for it.
We have plenty in California, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
No, you cannot just rinse with water, silly boy. Thank you very much. And in order to properly sanitize things, you have to properly clean things first. And there's no product that really does a good job of cleaning and sanitizing at the same time. You have to use 2 products. The only products you should be using are from 5 Star
Did you
Chemicals.
say sanitizing?
Did I? I may have.
Don't sanitize me,
It's a
bro.
step above sanitizing.
It's a little bit more involved. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
More thorough. It's better for everybody.
Electrochemical sanitizer.
Tase all the bugs in there, yeah.
And so if you are a guest on the show, which Casey will be today, then he will get a prize pack from 5 Star Chemicals. And our other prize is given out from GrogTag. You go to grogtag.com and buy some customizable, reusable beer and wine labels, coasters, metal signs, bottle caps, you name it. If you can throw it on your beer or anywhere in the vicinity, they could probably do it for you. You can take a picture of Warren's stupid beard and put it on a coaster, man, whatever you want to do.
There was a really drunk girl at the brewery today that was all about me, yelling out, "Beard Man!" every time she would see me from the front tasting room area. Oh. I stopped. She actually walked up on the brew deck while I was cleaning out the louder time.
Wow.
It was really bizarre.
Weird, man.
Did the bouncers clear her out of there?
No,
It's kinda like
Chris
walking
was
up on stage
Chris
at a
was up on the brew
concert.
deck. He saw her up there and just ran. He left me all by myself up there.
That sounds like something Chris would do.
You know who your real friends are
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Yeah.
Her breath could have sanitized valves based on how it smelled.
We could have harnessed that power. That's how you tase the bugs there.
Yeah. Well, send her to 5-star.
Right. Yeah.
We can start breathing all that kind of stuff in.
Right.
But yeah, so the winner of the Grog Tag, at least your beer will look good gift certificate, is to the winner who has the lowest score. It's kind of a fun little game that we do. But Grog Tag are kind enough to give us $40 to give away to people who at least need to make their beer look good if it's not going to be,
By winner, we mean loser, and which is doubly ironic because it's going to be the same person.
I was going
to
say, I think I know who's going to lose today.
It's fine. Casey will lose and win, and he'll feel good and bad about himself simultaneous.
All right.
This is going to be fun.
It evens out.
Yeah. So also, Grog Tag, they do give away 10% if you use code BNARMY at checkout. So don't forget to do that, and get some cool cool stuff for your beer, man. I really like it. Okay, is that it? Let me check my thing.
Is Casey home from the bar yet?
My thing is checked. No, Casey is going to be at the bar. Actually, the people on McLeod are so cool that they're letting him use their office to do our little thing in. So you might hear a little band in the background, but it's fine.
They're
whatever.
telling everybody to shut up. That's
Radio.
bar.
Right. Like, stop. Casey's going to talk.
Shh,
He's on the radio.
Stop it.
That's right. Shh, Dr. Homebrew.
Everybody knows Dr. Homebrew.
Maybe they're tuning in right now in the tasting room.
Everybody. All right, we're going to take our little break. We're going to get some beer in here, and then we're going to get Casey on the phone, and we're going to talk about, what does he have? He has a Pommegranet
Saison.
Yes.
We're calling it a Belgian specialty.
Okay.
Right. And the Eisbock.
The Eisbock.
The only one we have today.
Didn't we call it the Van Eisbock?
We called it the Van Eisbock.
Unbeknownst.
Although he called it something else.
That's true.
Unbeknownst to us.
Yeah. Should be good. I like these. Sometimes I like doing these kind of one-off, one brewer only shows. You kind of get a feel for how people put stuff together once you hear.
That way, if you have technical difficulties with Skype and lots of bar noise, it'll be really extra shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Casey gave us a bunch of other beer too. So we're not just these two. So if he goes away, then we're just gonna have to drink all of his beer.
There you go.
Right. Yeah, party after the podcast.
And
what happens.
It's nice that they're two different styles. It's not a Saison and then a beer de garde.
The Saison with and without the pomegranate.
Right, exactly.
Which we have seen before.
Absolutely, which is cool. I mean, you still get some good feedback, but it is good to get a wide variety of what a home brewer can do. So let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking to Casey on Dr. Homebrew back after this.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
Hey, dude, you know what beer this is?
Oh, no, all the labels are falling off.
Yeah, or the ink is run.
Well, if it's the pale ale, you're good, but stay away from the quote-unquote Belgian.
Oh, man, this guy needs to get some grog tags.
Grog tags are reusable, write-on, wipe-off, commercial-grade bottle labels for your brew. The guys at Grog Tag are homebrewers. They wanted great-looking, sturdy labels for your bottles, buckets, carboys, kegs, and growlers. They also wanted a label that not only looks good, but can be easily removed and reapplied during bottling without that nasty glue residue being left behind. No residue, water-resistant, and ice chest approved. Grog tags stay on in water or an ice chest, and they stay legible. Visit grogtag.com to customize your label or coaster from dozens of different templates for free and see how awesome your bottles can look.
It's that pseudo-Belgian.
Yeah, we're getting him some grog tags, dude.
Grog Tag. At least your beer will look good. GrogTag.com. Are you a member of the American Homebrewers Association? Well, you should be. Members of the AHA can focus on brewing beer, and the AHA takes care of the rest. The American Homebrewers Association advocates on behalf of homebrewers like you to legalize the hobby in all 50 states and make sure that beer laws make sense. Plus, there are many great benefits that come with your AHA membership, like AHA member deals that give you awesome deals at bars, restaurants, breweries, and more. Zymergy Magazine and Zymergy for tons of articles, how-tos, easy-to-follow recipes, and news about the hobby you love, and access to the members-only content on homebrewersassociation.org. But the AHA can't do it without your support. Join today so the American Homebrewers Association can keep fighting for your homebrewing rights. Visit homebrewersassociation.org or join now from the homepage of the Brewing Network website. Relax. Don't worry. It's the American Homebrewers Association.
Starting a brewery is not for the faint of heart. It's definitely a labor of love. If you're not going to give it 100%, don't bother.
Brewers Publications is proud to present the Brewers Association Guide to Starting Your Own Brewery by Elysian Brewing's Dick Cantwell. Business plans, financing, sustainability, and more. This book takes you through the planning and execution needed to turn the dream of craft brewing into a reality. Whether you want to open a brew pub or a packaging brewery, learn the professional side of ingredients, wastewater, quality, and how to build the craft brewery of the future. The Brewers Association Guide to Starting Your Own Brewery, available now from Brewers Publications and brewerspublications.com.
Hello, fellow BNers. This is Sully from the 21st Amendment Brewery located in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park. Before Nico and I opened the 21A and before I was a professional brewer, I homebrewed on my small 4-burner apartment stove in a back house in Santa Monica, California, making my extract brews before graduating to the daunting idea of all-grain brewing. Homebrew books and information was hard to come by back then. The internet hadn't been invented yet, along with other things we take for granted today, like electricity and potable water. One thing I wish I had back then when I was learning was a radio show that could teach me the ins and outs of brewing and answer questions that I had about homebrewing, a resource for making great craft beer. The 21st Amendment Brewery is excited to be a proud sponsor of Dr. Homebrew, a great show that teaches you what you need to know about making incredible beer. Good stuff. Listen up, you might learn something. I certainly did. And thanks for your support. Tasty Crack Kings.
Now serving patient number 189. Number 189 to the counter, please.
Now back to Dr. Homebrew.
All right, thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. Dr. Homebrew, and we are on the line with Casey. Casey, you there, buddy?
Yes, sir.
All right.
How's it going, fellas?
Good, man. How you doing?
Excellent.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, you got that nice office space echo going on there. A small room bit.
Did you have some beers?
Well, you're going to hear some bagpipes, I think, in the background in a little bit. I think they're between songs right now, but yeah.
Did you have some beers here at the lovely Hop Grenade in downtown Concord the other day, or you passed through, I heard?
I did, yeah. I was over there. Anytime I'm up in the Bay Area, I try to come in there and have a few pints, and I enjoy it.
Right on.
Cool place.
You know what? Is there anything more irritating than bagpipes? Can I just be honest for a second?
It's kind of my dream instrument to learn how to play.
Oh?
It might be because I just want to annoy everybody around me all the time.
Yeah, you do a pretty good job.
But I feel like the bagpipes could help me out with that.
I mean, I guess bagpipes are fine, but I tell you the worst thing about the GABF is the fucking bagpipes that come through, because it's just so cavernous, and it like the high notes are super high, and it's like fucking.
That's what it's all about. No, I love these things. Yes,
bagpipes
in small doses. I love this stuff.
Bagpipes
cool.
outside is way different than bagpipes in a conference hall.
Yeah, it's definitely not meant to be played in closed spaces. It's like a bazooka. You don't do that inside.
Don't shoot your bazooka inside.
That's right.
You got to admit, though, bagpipes are pretty sweet at a funeral, though.
Oh, yeah.
So I
guess
that's a one-time bagpipes are they're good.
They had a funeral.
Yeah, because when you're dead, you don't have to listen to them.
That's true.
Oh, you can probably hear them. They're that loud.
Oh, they'll make it to you? Yeah.
Like, guys, I'm not dead quite yet. I'm kind of halfway to hell. Leave me alone. Stop at the bagpipes.
That you go all the way. We're going to play the bagpipes.
Stop at the bagpipes. But, hey, man, you like them, and that's cool, Casey.
Hey, whatever. I mean, I'm here at McLeod's Ale Brewing Company, and that's what they do here. On Thursday night, they play bagpipes.
They play bagpipes. Well, you will never catch me there Thursday nights. Actually, that's not true. It didn't sound too bad. I suppose in a bar setting, it's fine, but just the pageantry of bagpipes in general bug me.
Right. Okay.
So,
agreed.
Can we still be friends?
Sure, I guess. I don't know. It depends on if you like my beer or not.
Well, that's a good question. Let's get into your beer. How long have you been homebrewing, man?
I have been homebrewing for maybe about 10 years, going on 10 years or so.
Okay, right on.
Which doesn't mean anything, really, because I'm still kind of retarded. But 10 years total, maybe in the getting nearing 100 batches or so.
Okay.
So
that's not too bad. Was that 10 batches a year?
Once a month, yeah.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good schedule, man. Are you licking the hops before you put them in, or, you know...
No, I stopped that long ago. I make people eat hops. Whoever comes and helps me brew, then they're like, "Oh, so show me how it works." And then I'm like, "Okay, well, you eat hops. Here you go, have one."
Yeah,
and then ruin their palate for the rest of the day.
Oh man,
you're a bully.
Yeah. You're a palate bully.
Right.
Instead of cyberbullying, I'm going to start fighting against palate bullying. Right. No IPAs and no hop eating. Okay, so let's just jump right into your beer then. So we have this Pommegranet Saison. Have you ever made anything like this in your life ever?
Never. That was the first first Saison I actually ever brewed, and I think it's a couple of years old now. But we, re-fermented it with Brettanomyces and pomegranate. So it's the Brett Brux with pomegranate in a secondary, and we aged that for 8 months or so.
Okay. All right.
So
awesome. Well, Brian, you want to start off talking about the Pommegranet Saison?
Pommegranet Saison. This the pomegranate definitely comes through nicely in the aroma. You get that right up front, and it's for a fruit beer you need to have that declared fruit in there. Or it's just like if you're hunting for it, it's no fun. So it's definitely it's pungent and it's in your face. It's it's a nice fruity presentation. Fruity esters kind of complement that at medium high level. I'm not getting any real spiciness. The malt character is pretty light overall, and fairly clean. Just a faint spicy hop, if anything, in the background. No DMS or diacetyl. There's definitely a low alcohol aroma in here. It's not boozy, but it's a smooth kind of alcohol in there that definitely pokes through. Color-wise, it had kind of interesting appearance. This pinkish, orangey, amber color with the first one poured with almost zero head. The second one poured a little bit of a head, but it faded very quickly to just a little ring around the glass, and kind of a whitish eggshell-colored head. Moderate haze in the beer, which is to style. And but after that long of aging, I'm surprised you still have some haze. Maybe the Brett's just hanging out in there, floating around, getting happy. I don't know, but the
getting happy. I don't know.
Come on, get happy.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, I don't know.
I don't have telekinesis with Brettanomyces, so I can't figure it out.
Not yet,
but with Saccharomyces, he does.
We're working on that. Yeah. Saccharomyces, no problem. In the flavor, the pomegranate comes through, and it's paired with this moderate sourness, kind of a lactic and citrusy like sourness. The malt is kind of a little honey like. It's a little chewier than I expected. I would like it to be a bit softer, and it finishes kind of semi dry in the late palate. There, it just has the impression of the sweetness coming probably from the sour and all that fruitiness that's going on. So it definitely, for a Saison, you'd want it to be nice and dry, really. But in this case, it's pushing a little sweetness, which the first bottle we had, we're getting a little bottle variation here. The first one was a little sweeter than the second one. The second one like I said, had a little more head, and it seemed like maybe it fermented a little more in the bottle. Or was just treated a little differently maybe. But no hops really to notice in there. Alcohol is smooth but medium high. Any phenols in here are just really low, just not enough to balance it. You want to have a little bit of that kind of, a little bit of spice in there would be nice to give it a little more complexity, I think, for a Saison. But body wise, it's medium body, kind of borders on medium full. It's maybe, and again, the sweetness in it and the flavor wasn't cloying or anything. It was just kind of there, but the body gives it an impression of a little more fullness than it may really have. I think it looks like it dried out to 10:05 if I saw the numbers right on that. But
Lee has them.
It feels fuller than maybe it is, but it's also fairly strong. It's got a kind of a medium warming character in there. You feel a little bit of that alcohol. It does have a bit of astringency as well. And I don't know. Yeah, we were trying to discuss whether that was possibly from the anything in the pomegranate, skins or seeds or whatever you got in there. I don't know, but we'll figure out how you treated your fruit. But yeah, otherwise the beer's fairly smooth and a bit creamy. Carbonation was low, maybe too low for style. But definitely too low for style. It needs a little more effervescence to be a real Saison. It needs to kind of pop in your mouth and push those flavors out. And with the dryness that you would get if you had gotten it down a little further. So I would just suggest, it sounds like you were probably patient with your yeast and you're doing some interesting things with it. It is a really interesting beer with a lot of the desired elements. It has this light sourness that I thought was pretty cool, playing off the pomegranate. And that's coming through nicely as declared. It's just missing the head, the CO2. You want to bump that up, and also that dry sensation. So you got to, coax that stuff out of your yeast. And this is definitely a specialty. I'm not getting a big barnyardy or anything. Now that you mentioned the Brett, I didn't pick anything up like that intensely. There's maybe a little bit of funk in there, but it's a pretty interesting beer. I gave it a 30. I enjoy drinking it.
Awesome.
I kind of, to be honest, nowadays, it like I thought it was a little bit better when it was fresh than last time I drank it before I brought it into you guys. But I kind of felt like it was kind of like a cherry 7-Up or something. Like
yeah,
that's kind of what I was getting from it when I was drinking it. But
sounds like you thought it was kind of sweet.
Yeah. And the fruit kind of just gave it like a soda pop kind of flavor. I don't know. But it was my first time. That 10:05 might have been the finishing gravity with the Saison yeast. And that was interesting. It was my first time with Saison yeast. And so that yeast likes it evidently high temperatures. Because we started it. I think we started it in like the low 70s, and then slowly ramped it up until we finally got some activity, and then we held it with the firm wrap with that until it finished probably about 10:05. Then we transferred it into different carboys, which we had modified. We drilled holes at the bottom like a quote unquote Vinnie nail, so we wouldn't mess with the pellicle that the Brett forms on top. So it was my first time with Saison yeast. It was my first time with Brettanomyces, the Bruxellensis. And and we just added, I think to 10 gallons, I think we added like 8 pounds of just pomegranate that we just gutted the pomegranates and then shoved in there.
So a question about that. When you added the stuff in there, did you remove the seeds, or did they go in too?
No, they went in too, and that was the whole thing about the pomegranate, which I was actually kind of going for, like that tannin-y. I thought, the tannin-y, like the tannins from the pomegranate seeds would kind of be, good for the Brettanomyces to kind of chew on and feed on. From what the little that I had researched on it at that point a couple years ago, but I don't know. That was just what I was thinking at the time.
Yeah. Well, we didn't really pick up much. None of us, before you mentioned it, picked up anything to do with Brett in this beer. So I don't know. Maybe the Brett didn't do it. Maybe the Brett didn't chew on those tannins. My observations were mostly pretty similar to Brian's. I got a little more acidity, and I actually thought the ferment was getting a bit in the solventy side. It's kind of hot.
Oh, really?
But, it's a little bit rough in the finish for the warmth in here. But I like the balance of the pomegranate versus the rest of the beer. I thought that was pretty good. It's pretty fruit-forward. But on the other side, the tannins, there's a little bit of astringency in this beer. It definitely comes through. It's a pretty strong thing, and I guess whatever the Brett was supposed to eat, it didn't.
And it's very different.
And that
from
might have been an overwhelming amount too.
Yeah, I mean it's very different from like over extraction tannins. I mean, I think it's very clearly like
it tastes like
organic seed.
It's like crunching a seed in your teeth when you're eating raspberry jam or something.
Yeah, and I think for most fruits that's probably okay to do. Just toss the seeds in. But with pomegranate, it's mostly seed. So I think you want to crush everything and then strain out as much of the seed as possible.
If you could, I'd strain out the seeds on any fruit you're going to put in there. Sometimes it's hard, but
yeah.
Okay.
Well, depending when he added the Brett with the Saison yeast, they ferment real dry, so there might not be a ton of food left for the Brett. Unless he added the pomegranates after the Brett, maybe there was some sugar from the pomegranates. But if there wasn't, the Brett wouldn't have much to work with.
Now, I just added them all at the same time when we transferred from the conical to the carboys. I added just the White Labs Brett Brooks in there, and then we shoved the pomegranates in through a funnel, and that was that. Maybe was it too? Do you think it was too cold? We put them in the carboys and put them in my father-in-law's wine cellar, which is like 55, swings between 55 and 60, 65 degrees. It's in the Bay Area in Castro Valley. So
that's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe that was too cold for you guys, for the Brett to come out or something. I don't know.
Might have been.
Sounds like a leprechaun orgy behind you.
French leprechaun.
Shit, you got me turning around now. I gotta watch
What? Leprechaun?
I'll be right back.
I did an all Brett cider fermented at 60, and it was surprising how clean the Brett fermented compared to the traditional cider yeast. It was pretty hard to tell the difference fermented at 60, so the cooler temp might have suppressed a lot of the traditional Brett character.
Well, and you don't get a lot of that. I think, Brian, I think you were talking about it earlier. You don't really get a lot of that traditional Saison yeast character out of it anyway. I mean, what do they say? Saison DuPont is like fermented at 98 degrees or 97 or something like that. You really have to hork on there.
Yeah.
It was crazy how hot we had to make it, man, because it was like, we started, I'm usually like 68 degrees, 70 degrees, and we ramped it up like, a couple of degrees a day because I didn't want to shock it. And so like a week later, when we got to like 85 degrees, we finally started getting some bubbles out of the top of the conical. And it was like, okay, well, there it goes.
Was that your first pitch? I mean, that's what you pitched it with. It took a week to get bubbling.
Doing anything, so
that's probably an issue there. Then that might explain. So that would explain to me maybe why I'm getting the solventy. You probably didn't have a very happy pitch of yeast in the first place. Would be my guess. I mean, even if you put the Saison yeast at 68, it's still going to give you a big good ferment start. You're just not going to get the same character out of it. But if you had some unhealthy yeast, that would explain maybe why you had such a hard time getting it started, and maybe why I'm getting some of the solventy character here.
Yeah.
It is giving some of the orangey and lemony kind of flavors and aromas that you do get from that yeast too. It's missing the phenolic element of the yeast as far as like having a little pepperiness to it.
Yeah, that's all very background in here.
It's just very faint, yeah. Or it may have faded over time a little bit. I don't know. Or the Brett chewed on something and changed it.
Yeah. How did you set up your yeast pitch for this?
Just a standard starter with the Saison yeast.
Yeah.
Just a standard starter. I actually don't think we had a stir plate at the time, but just a 1,000 milliliter flask, and I think even on top of that we put another smack pack in there as on top of it. So one smack pack, the Y yeast. I put the notes in there for you guys. I don't have them with me, but the Y yeast Saison.
Yeah, we've got that stuff
in a starter, and then another smack pack on top of it for good measure.
Okay.
I'm not sure if Jay's gotten to mixing Brett with Belgian yeast on the Sour Hour, but I know I've talked with him at Heretic about adding Brett to a beer fermented with a primary with a Belgian strain that pumps out a lot of phenols, and I forget what it turns it into, but he said that the Brett will break down the phenols into other things, and so that the Brett could strip out some of the phenols that the Saison yeast created initially. So that might be why we're not getting a lot of phenols in the beer here.
Along with the colder temperatures. Yeah, because since then, I mean, I've read, like, I've listened to Chad Jacobson on the session, like, 14 times,
wow.
and like saw his dissertation and like all that stuff about, and I've had Surrett and like those beers that are 100% Brett fermented, they're just so clean and you can't taste the Brett. And I'm like, well, maybe I did that somehow and got lucky. I don't know. But yeah, so.
Awesome. Do you have any questions for the guys about this beer, specifically, Casey?
No particular questions, just mostly just wanted to get feedback and see what you guys thought as far as, what it was, and I
like that cherry 7-Up description. Oh, that was a good one. It does. Yeah,
it kind of looks like it, too. It's a pretty cool color. It's like a rose color hue to it.
Yeah, honestly, I wish 7-Up tasted like this.
Hey, good or bad, it's the ladies love it. It's a panty dropper beer. So,
why you have clumsy women doing your laundry? I don't understand.
Bagpipe players.
All right, Casey, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and do your icebox. So I'm going to leave you on hold for a second. Is that all right?
Yes, sir. I'll be here.
You might have to go get a beer. I don't know.
I'm double fisting, so I got
shit.
We are too, so you're okay.
All right, man. Hang on a second. We'll be right back.
Right on.
All right, dude. Good beer. I liked it.
Yeah, it's good.
It was delicious.
Decent stuff.
Before we break, I want to tell everyone about the AHA. If you are not a member of the AHA right now, please go and do so. They protect your rights as homebrewers. They fight for your right to not only brew at home, but to bring your beer out to events, to give it away as samples, to get other people involved in this really nice hobby. So check them out, the AHA. You can, as a member, you can also get Zymergy magazine, which is a wonderful magazine. They have a lot of really good content, some cool recipes. Kind of similar maybe to how we do Dr. Homebrew in a way. A lot of feedback stuff, how to make your beers better. How to do these funky, 3-step mashes, and how to do a turbid mash, and all that kind of stuff that you never thought you wanted to know.
Yeah. It's a lot slicker, though.
It's a lot. They get paid a lot more.
One thing
I don't know about that, but probably they do.
I've really been enjoying the feature of getting to listen to previous NHC seminars.
That's right.
On through the website. If you're a member, you can sign in and get to listen to all of the previous seminars of the recent years.
Pretty big,
highly educational.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember my first NHC. I brought a little tape recorder in because it wasn't available then.
Yeah.
So I just recorded all the ones I went to.
You would.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. You did.
I don't know that I've listened to them since, but
you
I've listened to the ones on the website.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to be like Warren. Join the AHA. Please do it. They need your help. They need your support, and you get a lot of pretty cool stuff back. So check it out. They also have a pub discount. You can come into the Hop Grenade now. Apparently, you get 10% off. I don't know, probably food or something like that. But hey, 10% is more than tax, and that's all you need to do.
And there are a lot of other places besides the Hop Grenade that you get discount for.
That's true.
Yeah, all over the place.
Thanks, Warren. Thank you, Warren, for clarification. I like Warren because he clarifies a lot of things.
Yeah. That means making points clearer than previously stated.
Thank you very much. Yeah. All right. It's Dr. Home, everyone. Stay tuned. We're going to come back with Casey's Eisbock. Back after this.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star Sand, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today. As a brewer, you already don't settle for second best. You want great tasting beer and you want great equipment to make it with. So don't settle for the second best grain mill. You want a Monster Mill from Monster Brewing Hardware. Monster Mills are tough, come in 2 and 3 roller designs, and are made right here in the USA from superior materials for longer lasting performance. Pick the mill that's right for you at monsterbrewinghardware.com and take Bevo's advice.
Trust me, it's always better to have a bigger tool than you think you need.
Monster Mills have the best warranty in the business. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Visit monsterbrewinghardware.com now and check out all the mills and mill accessories. Don't settle for second best. Get a Monster Mill from Monster Brewing Hardware.
That's it. I've had it. I am never putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states. Plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small, single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy shit!
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
Have you ever dreamed of attending the World Brewing Academy? This year, thanks to Lallemand and Danstar, one lucky brewer will make that dream a reality for free. Lallemand and Danstar invite you to enter the Beer School 2015 contest. One lucky grand prize winner will receive fully paid tuition to the 2015 World Brewing Academy web-based concise course in brewing technology worth almost $4,000. From now until December 13th, 2014, every Danstar yeast packet you use is your ticket to enter. Visit danstaryeast.com for the details and to print your official entry form. There's no limit on the number of times you can enter, so get brewing with Danstar and get your entries in to the Danstar 2015 Beer School Contest. Whether you want to build your home brewing skills or build a career as a professional brewer, this course will change the way you think of beer and brewing. Enter at danstaryeast.com and get the dry yeast advantage with Danstar and Lallemand Premium Brewing Yeast and enter to win.
And now to the finale of Dr. Homebrew.
That's right, it is the finale. But it's not really the finale. Because we're here talking with Casey still.
It's the pre-finale?
It's the pre-post... something, I don't know. I'm not
what you
smart
hear when
enough.
the anesthesia hits.
Yeah.
There's still something apocalyptic going on, I'm sure of it.
I'm not smart enough to tell everyone what this is. Casey, you still there, buddy?
Yes, sir.
All right. What are you drinking on?
I am drinking the King's Taxes. It's a, Scottish 60 shilling. That's hard to say when you're buzzed.
Sounds
the
great.
brew with the yeast cultivated from the bagpipes, or
from the beards of the bagpipers.
Yeah, might be.
From the kilt.
Yeah. Well, good. Hey,
Kilt
man,
yeast.
you enjoy that, and I'll just wait for the next round.
I'm
Be all
glad
right.
I'm 500 miles away.
Yeah, that'd be fine. All right, we have this Eisbock here. Now, have you ever done an Eisbock before, Casey?
Nope, first time at an Eisbock as well.
how about lagering in general?
No, not lagering, but freezing beer, yes. Except for the cans of Coors that I accidentally freeze in the freezer sometimes. But
You can make ice cores.
Ice cores?
Yeah.
There you go. All right, Lee, you want to start us off talking about this Eisbock?
Sure, why not?
Banquet barley wine.
It does have a strong malt aroma. A lot of toasty cherry Munich malt notes. Pretty much low or no hops at all. I thought maybe I got a little bit of threshold noble spiciness, but it could have just been alcohol. The alcohol in here was pretty clean, though. It's just kind of come across a nice, clean kind of alcohol note in the aroma, which means it probably had a pretty clean ferment, which is definitely what you want in a beer like this. There's really not much but Munich malt in the nose, so it's just malt, little alcohol, maybe a whisper of some hops. That's about all I got. The malt's that nice sort of toasty cherry Munich malt aroma. I thought maybe it could use a little bit more complexity, some other specialty malts on that, but honestly, it was really nice as it is. It's a very appealing beer. It's a very simple kind of aroma. Appearance is deep orange with some red highlights. Pours a light cover of foam that faded very quickly to a small bead, a little off-white color. That fading to a very small bead is pretty common for beers like this. They're just strong enough that the alcohol just kills all the bubbles. The clarity was decent. It was a little bit hazy, which I thought could be better. These should be pretty nice, clear beers. They've usually been lagered for a long time. They should be clear. And it definitely had some legs on the glass. I think it leaves a nice sort of, not quite syrupy, but definitely a slow, drippy trail down the inside of the glass. So that was nice. For the flavor, big, clean Munich malt, toasty melanoidins with some cherry, some clean alcohol. I thought medium high kind of alcohol. Maybe a little bit of spicy noble hop in there, hard to say. No esters noted, as I could tell from the ferment. So, I mean, there's lots of that cherry character probably from the Munich malt, but I think that's mostly from the malt. Balance is definitely to the malt. Finish is sweet, but it fades quickly to a dry under the influence of all that alcohol with some lingering malt and alcohol flavors. And again, it was a very clean kind of Munich malt flavor. I thought really, in a way, this is almost like an Imperial Oktoberfest. It's just that Munich malt, front, center, and only, pretty much. And it's just all that's there. I think a lot of Eisbocks will put some more specialty malts in here and might give it some more complex malt character, which is not what I'm finding here. But on the other hand, on its own merits, this is actually quite nice. I'm really liking this beer. Medium to medium high body, still probably the low end for style. These things range from kind of full to massive.
Yeah.
This is a lighter body for the style. But it kind of works. I liked it that way. Clean, medium-high alcohol warmth, medium-low carbonation, pretty good creaminess, medium to high. No astringency at all. It's definitely a lighter bodied version of the style, but I thought it was pretty well balanced. Although the alcohol, when it warms up, can give quite a kick in this beer. I think this is like 11.6%. So it's fairly strong. I've seen stronger Eisbocks, but I've seen lower alcohol ones as well. Overall impression, very simple, clean Eisbock that is very enjoyable. The alcohol is nicely strong, yet clean. It balances well versus the malt. I thought it was very nicely done. The malt character is on the simple side of the style, so especially malt additions would add some complexity that would really, really help this beer in some ways. But still, even with all that, it's just a very nicely balanced, very enjoyable beer. Again, it's like a giant Oktoberfest. I gave it a 38. I thought it was very nice. A little on the simple side for the style, but wonderful presentation. Really nice beer. I think it's a good job. And these are hard to do, too.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people will make these beers and they'll just be ridiculously syrupy, or the malts will just be intense or muddy and not clear, or the alcohol will just rip your face off and be not very nice. So, I mean, the really fact that this is clean, balanced, and a nice ferment, and the alcohol isn't like just doing nasty things to you, that's a victory right there. That's a victory right there. So I thought this was a good beer.
Yeah, you're going to concentrate whatever was there, bad, good, or ugly.
Yeah, what do you think, Brian?
I agree with a lot of what you said there, Lee. It came out, the first one we tasted came out cold. We let the second bottle warm a little bit. We always prejudge these, and so we're tasting it for the second time here. It comes across a little fuller in the aroma, but it was kind of light overall, especially the first time, and just a light toast and a low cherry-like notes in there for the malt to me. Fairly smooth alcohol in the aroma, low melanoidins, and very faint dark fruit. If there's a little more kind of raisiness and more melanoidins would be nice in here, but it's got kind of a winey, grape-like presentation to me. It's got this kind of pink and white wine notes in it, but no diacetyl, no DMS, no hops to detect really in there. Color-wise, it's kind of this medium dark amber color. You really want to start at dark copper with these beers. They concentrate the color along with the strength and everything in there. So if you're starting with a kind of a medium, an ambery Doppelbock, it's gonna darken a little bit, and should land a little darker than this, but and again, very low head, but that's expected. Just kind of fades to a little ringer on the edges and a little bit of haze, so you do want to clean that up. But flavor wise, had this medium the malt impression came across more strongly in the flavor to me. Had a little more substantial, the cherry-like and wine-like notes in there. Definitely balanced to the malt. Hop bitterness was very low. Okay for the style. You don't want it. It's not a hop-forward beer at all. Finishes medium sweet. Fairly smooth alcohol, but there's a little bit of booziness in here. Kind of I thought I got a hint of some solventy, but it was not too bad. Nothing offensive or harsh, intensely harsh. It's pretty smooth, like Lee said, but I got a little bit of solvent in there, but it's also just extremely alcoholic. So there's a lot of the alcohol and
just like me.
Some of the other things being a little lighter. That's where I'm going with the feedback on this, is that to balance it properly, you want to bump up some of that stuff. But body-wise, about the same as Lee said, medium full body, kind of on the low end for the style. Some pretty firm warmth, a bit hot, and only a faint touch of any astringency, nothing offensive there. So pretty nice Eisbock overall. A bit light, especially in the aroma. It's reflected there a little more, but the flavor is fuller and comes across pretty beefy. I think the alcohol is helping there as you get that a little more intensely in the flavor and the mouthfeel, and just attacks your mouth a little bit there. But I think that not the amount of malt that you're adding, but the maltiness flavor level and aroma level should be increased. Maybe with more dark Munich and some other slightly darker malts in there, especially malts.
Dark Munich.
Get creative and throw in some other, some darker malts in there that are going to give it a little more fullness to the malt flavor.
I see the darkest he has is Caramunich. So the recipe is 53% German Pils, 38% Munich, and 9 Caramunich.
Yeah, okay.
And he says 10 rats. I don't know what that means, if that's, but...
10 rats.
Yeah. All right.
He caught 10 rats.
Yeah. I'm noticing some little black hairs in here. But I wasn't going to say anything about those.
Yeah.
I was going for mouse taint.
Yeah. Mouse
tainty.
taint.
It's very tainty.
Yeah. So, I mean, the little tiny bit of intense heat that was there, just a little massive, use a massive healthy yeast pitch. I'd be interested to see what you did there. Maybe even, the alcohol level was okay if you had a little more beef to balance it. But, yeah, it's just needs to be just a little better balanced. But I gave it a 33. It's a very pleasantly drinking Eisbock. There's not a lot wrong with it. It's just, to me, more of a balanced thing. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think you've really hit the ball out of the park on a lot of the technical aspects of this. Getting it a clean ferment, getting that ice distillation down, and getting a nice result. Those things were great. It's sort of the complexity could be beefed up a bit for the malt, and the intensity of the malt flavor and aroma could be beefed up a bit.
Okay.
Well, if you could do all that ferment stuff on a beer with those sort of characteristics, you'd be totally right there.
So the things I did with this that I kind of did on my own, because everything else, I think, from what I remember, it's a couple years old now, but it was like straight from Mr. Zainashev's Classic Styles Eisbock. And I think I read what got me to do it was I read in the magazine. What magazine is that? Brew Your Own. There was his 50-point Eisbock. It was the only 50-point Eisbock or whatever, right? And so I did it pretty much to the T, and I hit all the numbers. The things that I was kind of going for that I kind of switched up was, which kind of surprised me on the melanoidins, is because one of the things I was going for was when I started running off, I hit the burner, and I put the burner to my full boil setting. So I run off real slow, and but the burner was on, full boil, and
in the kettle.
In the kettle, yeah. So I was trying to get a few melanoidins from those first runnings, that came in there, and kind of to help lend it to age, because I wanted to age this one, and I still have a lot of it, but I want to age it like, a couple of 3 or 4 years or something,
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I was going for.
That's going to give you some kettle caramelization for sure, but I don't know about getting a lot of melanoidins from that.
You won't? Oh, I thought
you could you could definitely do some decoction to it and increase some of that kind of character. I don't know. Just boiling the wort, is that going to add many melanoidins? It doesn't. I don't know.
I definitely got a darker crystal malt character.
That's probably the Caramunich.
Yeah,
but even to the point where it's almost raisiny. Mm-hmm. Like I got even more to where, like, if he took some Caramunich and did the slow runoff with an extreme kettle temperature to where it was causing
Sizzling on the
a
bottom.
lot of caramelization, I could see some of those more darker caramel flavors forming.
But that is that trick is a pretty cool one, especially for like if you're making a strong Scotch ale or something where you want some more kettle caramelization flavors. That's a really cool trick to use.
Casey,
it turned out fine in this case too. It tastes good.
Do me a favor, dude, real quick. Just go through the how you iced this.
So when everything was said and done, and this was a huge slug of yeast that I put in there, and I think I even added some dry yeast to it on top just for good measure again. But so when everything was done, ferment went well, lagered, and then I brought it up to do a de-rest, and then I slowly started bringing it down, and once I got to like 30 degrees, I think I brought it to 30 degrees, and started in the morning because I this was an all day thing. I went in there and gave it a little shake, and then I set my timer for an hour or two, and then I go back and I give it another shake, and probably I don't know, maybe 8 hours later, 10 hours towards the end of the day, I started getting some slush. Like it was a lot, a lot of slush. And once it started feeling like there was like a slushy on top, then that was pretty much it. I transferred from one keg to another, from out of one keg to out, which was into the next keg. If that makes sense.
You pushed from one keg into another.
Right, so I pushed from one into another. It was purged with CO2, so it was all good, and it was closed, and filled it up, and I took the ice out and ate a little bit, and then let it thaw, and measured how much that was gone, and I concluded, if I remember right, it was about 15 to 20%. So I took the 15 to 20% from the total of the 5 gallons that I brewed, and I added 15 or 20% to alcohol percentage to it, and that's how I got to the 11.6, and that's why I got that.
What did the ice taste like?
It tasted good. It tastes like a light beer, actually. It wasn't bad at all.
Barley ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like your math is working out fine there. You moved about a gallon of volume from the 5 gallons you started with, so 20% loss,
20% loss, and then I added 20% to the alcohol percentage, and that was that.
9.7, I think 9.7 was the ABV of before you iced it. That's a pretty big lager. Did you do an extra big starter, or how much yeast did you put in there?
Huge, and I think on top of that afterwards, because my homebrew shop is the wine, beer, cheese making one. Down here.
John, right? Is that his name?
Yeah. Down here, and the guy's like, "Oh, you're doing that 9.7. You need more yeast. Here, take you need like 15 packets of dry yeast. Go add that to it." So on top of like the 4 smack packs of Y yeast, along with one of them was a starter. I think I added like 10 packets of dry yeast on top of.
Pretty sure you were all right.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it was all right with that.
It came out pretty well. I'm amazed all that came out that clean. Yeah, it's very good.
The funny thing about this one is I almost added, because I told you I'm kind of a retard, and in the middle of this beer I got a refractometer for the first time.
Yeah.
And so while this was fermenting, I kept taking readings, and I was like, why the fuck is can I say the fuck word on here?
Too late.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Just don't say shit. That's
why.
Yeah. Oh shit! You just said shit.
Yeah.
Why it was at like 10:35, and I was like, why the hell won't this thing go down? And I was testing it with a refractometer. I had no idea. I've never used one of these things before, and so I went down and I got I made a big starter of just California ale yeast. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to ferment this thing down with ale yeast, and at least it'll give it like a clean fermentation. I won't get yeast character into the beer from that,
right.
But I caught it last minute, so that's just a funny story from that beer.
So you didn't add 001?
I did not add 001.
That's
almost. I did.
Yeah, you did good on that one.
Yeah.
Right on.
Good catch.
Right on.
Any questions for the guys on the Eisbock, Casey?
Well, yeah. As a matter of fact, with both of them, like, what do you think about age with these beers? Because both of them, I think, are about a couple years old now. I think the last beer was probably a little bit better when it was fresh. I think this one is tasting better as it goes on with age, and I bottled it. I got the whole Blickman beer gun thing, so it's all purged and all good. And I think I have those. I have a bunch of them waxed on the top too, so oxidation isn't a big deal. So, what do you think that plays into the character, like what you're drinking now, and if age will help
for this? It's hard to say. Saisons sometimes do interesting things with age. Sometimes they go downhill. The one thing I would point out about the Saison is we saw a lot of bottle-to-bottle variation. So I think it may not have been fully fermented out when you bottled it, and one bottle was definitely more carbonated and drier than the other.
Yeah.
Which could be a better ferment, or it could just meant one of the caps was leaking a bit over time.
There was some scuzz in the bottom of that bottle.
Bottle scuzz.
Yeah, I mean, and for the Eisbock, I mean, most lagers generally don't age very well, even the big ones. But I think a lot of that is because you get them in bottles with no yeast whatsoever. So any oxygen that gets in there at all is going to kill them quickly. You probably had a little bit of yeast in yours, because most home breweries do not do a perfect job of removing that. I really didn't pick up any sign of oxidation in either of the beers. I think you did okay there.
I was going to say too.
They both tasted very nice on that front. You know, so I think whatever it is you did on that was fine.
Well, I would think freezing, especially with the Eisbock, because I use Whirlflock pretty much with everything, and then gelatin in the keg, but then freezing it into another keg and transferring it. I would think that most of the yeast would drop out while freezing it, and then I didn't bottle condition I didn't bottle condition the Eisbock, so I didn't think that there was a bunch of there wouldn't be a bunch of yeast in there at all. And last time both of the beers, it must have been when I transferred them over to you guys, because every time I crack those beers, they're perfectly clear. So that must have just been my bad.
Gotten bumped around a little bit.
That damn 680, man.
I don't know. I would say in the Eisbock, there's definitely a little bit of something in the bottom of that.
Oh, really?
I mean, the bottom of mine pours out a little pretty hazy. I just poured out the bottom of the bottle, and I mean, compare this to yours, which was off the top.
Mine's a lot clearer than yours.
Yeah,
Lee.
it's definitely, there's something in the bottom of that bottle. The freezing might drop out a lot of the yeast, but it might not drop out all of it, especially because it's cold, which will drop it out, but it's not for a long time. You're talking 10, 12 hours there for your process. So anything that stays up in that liquid level will get racked over into that second keg and end up in the final bottle.
Okay. As you age this beer, though, it's probably going to darken a little bit more, which might be good for it. You might get a little more sherry-like character to it. It doesn't have a lot of that right now, but it might start tasting a little more barley wine-ish or something. The alcohol is maybe going to smooth out even a little bit more. It should be an enjoyable drinking beer after some more time, but I think it's going to lose even more of the kind of characteristic. Melanoidins and what you do have there. So I would say, drink it now. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I enjoy it, but I was kind of going for that sherry port kind of thing.
Sure.
You'll get there, I think.
You're
eventually.
not there yet.
Yeah, eventually.
And there's no detectable oxygen in here. So you did well there. And from what you're telling us, it sounds like you know what the F you're doing. So it's all good.
Ryan. All right, Casey. If that's it, then we'll let you go, man. We'll let you go back to drinking beer. I will send you you are of course the default winner of the Grog Tag. At least your beer will look good. Gift certificate $40 to grogtag.com. Go over and check them out if you haven't yet, and I'll get that over to you tomorrow or maybe in 10 years. I don't know.
Done. Those guys are rad. I've already checked them out and got some stuff.
I hope you're using code BNARMY to get 10% off.
Excellent. I will.
All right.
Good timing on that music.
All right, man. Thanks.
Cool. Thanks, fellas. I appreciate it, man. I was glad to participate. I've been a fan for a while. And,
good.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that was fun.
Thanks, man.
Right,
glad to have you on, and thanks for sharing all the beers. We're going to drink all the rest of your beer now.
Yeah. Go tell Andy we said hi.
Okay, we'll do.
All right, man. Later.
All right, later.
Good beers. Good beers from Casey.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
And,
you just couldn't wait to turn down those bagpipes, huh?
Right, yeah. Once the bagpipe is running,
we're done.
That's
it. That's it. We're out of here.
Yeah.
They seem to have segued to accordion, though, but yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I think they're more like Irish, like little Irish pub bands or whatever.
Playing a jig, yeah.
Yeah.
Scotch-Irish band.
Before we take off, I do want to let you guys know about... let's see, I did this thing. I got to check all my notes. Yeah, if you're into more fantastic radio like you're listening to now, check out the Sour Hour. Warren was talking about it a little bit. We talked to Jay Goodwin from the Rare Barrel, and he interviews big wigs and luminaries in the sour beer world, talking about all about stuff that you can do at home to make killer sour beer. Don't forget also the Brewers Association's Guide to Starting Your Own Brewery. If you're into planning and opening a thriving, quality-oriented brewery, this is the book for you. Industry veteran Dick Cantwell of Elysian Brewing covers ingredients, financing, business plans, all that kind of stuff to make sure that you can open your beer and get running as fast as possible. It's a comprehensive guide, essential industry knowledge. Can't really open a good pub without it. So definitely check it out. And then, find us on iTunes. We're all over the place, right? Come listen to all of our shows. Casey listens. You should listen, too, if you want to make good beer like Casey.
Come visit us here in Concord.
Yeah, come here in Concord.
Glass, like monkeys in a cage.
Yeah, for sure.
Cage, but it's a comfortable cage.
We promise not to throw dung at the window.
Are we the monkeys or are they the monkeys?
Yes.
That's
creek monkeys.
That's one of those questions that can't be answered.
You'll never answer it, Warren.
The answer is yes.
Know. I asked it, so...
No, you'll never know the answer.
All right.
All right, everyone. Thanks. Until next time, it's been Dr. Homebrew. Take it easy.